Hello and welcome to our St. Stephen Road Report, coming to you from Tignish. So it's been a while since we've done one of these.
And we're happy to see everybody. I know the last time that we really produced anything video-wise, we were in Saskatchewan, so it's a little bit of a different situation. The sky is blue, the ground is clear and green. Not clear, I guess not transparent.
That would be exciting.
It's free of snow, we should say. And so that's kind of a big deal for us. So we just wanted to tell you a little bit about our time in St. Stephen, because we didn't really get a chance to make a road report like we had been doing in our previous communities. Although we may get a chance to kind of take some video clips and put them up in the coming weeks. Just wanted to kind of go over our thoughts on it.
Yeah, because it was a bit of a different experience than I think we'd had in other communities, and I don't mean that in a bad way. That sounded very scary, but it was different in that St. Stephen is a much larger community than any that we've worked with. I think it's twice the size of what we said we'd work with, and probably 4 times the size of the largest community that we'd actually worked with up until this point. So. It was dramatically different, but in our heads, having lived in Vancouver and, you know, lived around millions of people, we thought, oh, 5,000 people, that's small, that'll be no big deal. But we actually had some struggles, even though we had contacts at the mayor's office and at the Chocolate Factory Museum, which was awesome. The Chocolate Factory is the largest employer in the community, for our understanding. We had a lot of trouble connecting with community members and residents at large.
Although we did find ourselves within sort of a subset community. Our main partners in St. Stephen were St. Stephen's University and the community life coordinator there, Katie Ironside. And so we got pretty close with the university community pretty fast. We were parked in their property and kind of saw most of the student body and the faculty on a semi-regular basis. And so, as it turned out, most of our workshop participants were members of that community or of the extended community of that kind of group.
Yeah, it's important to note that St. Stephen's University is a Christian liberal arts university, and it is actually the smallest university in Canada. They have usually between about 80 and 150 students at a time. So a little bit bigger than the film program subset within Simon Fraser University that Ryder and I attended. So it was kind of a style that we were a little bit used to in terms of knowing everyone so closely, which is cool.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They're also loosely affiliated with the St. Stephen Vineyard Church. And so that community kind of forms the subset that we were working inside of for the most part. And it kind of gave us some insights into different types of communities and different styles of communities and the way these things develop in different environments. Up until this point, the communities we've been working with, or at least the ones that we've been thinking that we've been working with, are roughly defined by their geographic borders. You know, their actual communities defined by space and residency. But in the case of St. Stephen, we actually became involved with an intentional community that was, like we've been saying, a subset of the larger population. So even though we were temporarily residing in a town of almost 5,000 people, effectively we were communicating with a group of
300 or so?
400 people. And so that was really interesting in a way to see the way that communities can differ from our expectations, and sometimes we can find ourselves in different situations than what we intended, and how names on the map are not always indicative of the communities that you'll find in a given place.
Yeah, and it made me hopeful as well, actually. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but it made me really hopeful that going back to a larger city like we plan to do and will probably need to do for our work, that you can find a community space that is very close and tight-knit and supportive and very intentional within that large space. And you might have to work a little bit harder for it than you do when you only live in a town of 300 or 400 people, but it is something that can be done, and that made me really excited and hopeful for our future in community life, because that is something that we have really come to enjoy, I think. I never thought of myself as a small town person, and I don't think Ryder did either, but we have grown to really love how close you can get with people and how quickly that happens, and you know, people who will stop you and just start chatting with you even if they've maybe only seen you once before at an event, or if they have some little idea of what's going on and what you're about, that they want to get to know you and make an effort in that regard.
Absolutely. So I think that's kind of the sum of our St. Stephen experience. We made some really wonderful friends there, and pretty soon we should have some reports coming to you from here in Tignish, PEI. So look forward to that.
And we should mention St. Stephen is in New Brunswick. I don't think we did mention that, but if you haven't been keeping up with us, St. Stephen is in New Brunswick. It's along the St. Croix River, and it is directly across from Calais, Maine, and they do a lot of cross-border interaction, which was another really interesting facet of the community, which hopefully we'll get to blogging about soon for you.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.